Welcome to Goldboys Live, presented by Pickett Sports. Sleeper picks, breaking down the card in MLB. We'll get into some MLB futures. Just a quick little refresher. We did a lot of NFL last week, so it'll be good to touch base, look at these races, who's going to get in the playoffs. I think the three of us are going to go around the horn, give each our six playoff teams, our two World Series teams. So some predictions. Brian, Josh, boys, what's going on?
I'm
Ready
all
to
right.
talk baseball, man.
We kind of talked about before the show, but yeah, wow, what a slate. Like not many good
Ugly.
games, some weather in question, but yeah, 2 days after an 18-day Saturday, we get this little, gross little slate, which is kind of what happens in MLB. You see some of these really fun 18, 15, 16 game slates, and then you just know that means in 2 days later, you're probably going to have a really ugly card or a really ugly look.
Of course, there's no day game too, and it is an ugly card. I guess we'll just jump into it. Best bets for today. It's nothing pretty. Brian, you did mention weather. We were just talking before the show. Since he might have some weather, that's always an interesting angle. If you want to just do some alternate K props under and parlay them just for a max payout, say, hey, the rain hits in the second or third inning, and you get a long rain delay. That's been a good angle in the past. It's a free roll sort of. Any other rain in the forecast? Any of these other spots?
That not as much. I'm looking at if you don't have it, like Roto Grinders or some other ones also do it, but that was the big one. The only other game is the Pittsburgh games. I believe was supposed to have something, but I'm not really sure what else there is. But you mentioned the alt K unders or this or that. The one angle I haven't bet, but depending on how this Cincinnati game shapes up before first pitch, I also think Logan Webb under 2.5 earned runs could fall in that same category of you're fading the Reds offense. It's been like really stagnant over the weekend, but
Yes.
also if there is rain, earned runs are just like strikeouts. I mean, if he gets pulled out early,
Right.
you can't allow runs if you're not pitching. So that's another one at plus money that might be a good look.
And that is one where the game does have to be played 9 innings to cash, so it's tricky. You could cap it right, and hey, you get a big rain delay. But then if they only play five, or if the game
Yeah.
is or if the game is shortened due to rain, you do get a refund. But that's another angle. But
And
kind of a free roll. I think it's a good angle. Josh,
yeah,
what do you like today? Anything on the board you like?
Yeah, I mean, all the weather stuff is like all the Midwest teams. Like there are games all up in that sort of weather area in terms of like the DMV, Philly, over into like Ohio kind of area, which I'm sure we've all loved hanging out in that area. But the rain is only like 15-20%. It's like, I don't know. There's possibility for hail, but I'm not really looking at that. So my favorite bet actually is a slight fade of Shane McClanahan, only because he's coming back
yes.
after missing like 3 weeks. So I looked at McClanahan under 5.5 Ks, and it's actually better on FanDuel there for him to get the under
I
five and
like
a
that.
half. I don't know that he goes like more than 4 innings, regardless if he's playing
Yeah.
well.
Did he have a
I mean,
rehab start?
I don't think he did. No, I
No,
didn't see
he
him get
just
his
had
spot start.
I don't think he's really thrown in since his last
Right.
start, and it's one of those things where not to cut you off there, Josh, but yeah, that's a good look too because Cash might give him like 16 pitches as a pitch count. They really like to make sure he's all right, especially with some of his scares.
Yep.
I
So
like
yeah, I
that.
think the under 5.5 for him is a really good play because I don't think he goes more than 4. The Rangers touch him up and they're just crushing right hand or lefty pitching as well. So I mean, the other thing is like first 5 over 4.5. There's a little bit of value there on FanDuel because you have to take the 5 for total runs in the first 5 on DraftKings and most other places. So if you want the over 4.5, it's like minus 140 for those two things. But like, still waiting on Dane Dunning to blow it up, man. That xERA is roughly 2 runs
Yeah.
higher
Yes.
than his ERA. His fly ball to home run ratio, like they're just not leaving the park. The Rangers are nice on defense. Honestly, like a lot of their pitchers have really low
So
BABIPs,
is
including
this
him.
Rangers
But
money line? Is this under 5.5? Is this
no,
both
this is over 4.5 on the first 5.
for the
Yeah,
for both teams combined?
yeah.
Okay,
Yep, over four and a
makes
half
sense.
total runs first 5 innings for the Rays and the Rangers. And like I said, I think my favorite thing there and favorite thing on the day is just McClanahan to go under. Just to
Yeah.
touch real quickly on the Cincy game again. Let me get Ellie for a steal, and I really need Logan Webb to be out there. He gets
What number
stolen
is it?
upon. Yeah, and Ellie's going to get on base, I think, against ground ball pitchers that are gonna be like Logan Webb, who are going to be out there for him. So you get plus 182 on FanDuel. It's like 20 cents better than on everywhere
Ooh,
else.
I don't know.
So
182.
That's a
I
yeah.
know it's
I
not
was
much, but
Uh,
41 of 55. That's what Logan Webb's given up when people try to steal on him. So
Yeah, I guess I was going to say was to kind of touch on your other point with McClanahan is Weirdly enough, I was just like playing around with it. Under 5.5 parlayed with over 3.5 first five was like plus 140. I think that's kind of a
Mm,
cool look. Kind of like fading him and backing the runs. But
still getting
yeah,
runs, yeah.
I was actually looking at the over there too. It opened at 8 or 8.5 for the game total. And I think it feels one of those things where you're getting a lower total just because it's Dunning versus McClanahan. They're being great all year, but these offenses are so good. Like it's almost like one where you might have to just back that, as you mentioned, Dunning finally letting the floodgates open. McClanahan now looking sharp. I do think there could be runs in that game.
When is the last time McClanahan pitched? I gotta look this up. It's been what?
June 30th.
June
That's when he
30th.
left.
Yeah.
That's
Few
when he left with
weeks.
it
That's
back.
enough. I mean, it's not like he's only going to go 2 or 3 innings, but like you said, they'll probably limit him. I can't see him going like into the 6th, probably 4.
Yeah.
Be careful, 4 or
I
5.
would say
80
There's no out,
pitches, maybe.
realistically, I would about say 75, 80. That's probably where I would go. Like if he's at 77 pitches after
See if he
5,
can do anything.
I think he might end it there. So I
I
think
mean, he's
that's
not throwing 100. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, no. So
Even 90 is probably a lot.
Yeah. So, and also to kind of revert back to the Cincy game, I know a guy in our Discord, Krusty K's, that has recently been a part of Goldboys. He has a good look too, where we talked about it, where me and Josh have said it before, where sometimes you can get these MLB props and help, quote unquote, reduce the juice with like these not to record a win. Brandon Williamson is like one of those guys where I would think if you wanted to do that for someone today, it'd probably be him with, A, the fact he's just not that good, B, the fact that there's rain on the forecast. There's just so many avenues that if you say you like something at minus 140, you can get it to plus money by the not record a win for a guy like Williamson that has just so many outs that he doesn't normally go deep into games anyway. And if he does pitch 3 innings, it's a rain delay. Who knows if he even comes back out? Because who's screaming for Brandon Williamson to come back out and fight through a rain delay? Probably not many in the Cincinnati camp.
No, and I actually really like that idea for McClanahan. If you're going to use the minus 200 for him to not get a win, because like I said, I don't think he pitches past the 5th if he gets into it. So the minus 200, you're usually looking at way worse, right? You're looking at like minus 450 for if you want to add it to stuff. So if it's a little bit more bold, but it's just we know how this management's going to take care of his arm and his back right now. So that's another good one. The other last thing I would look at, I had like kind of like 3 plays anyway that I'm planning on playing here. Full disclosure, I have not hit them yet, but I'm definitely hitting the 2 I just said in a minute. Luzardo on the Marlins, they're playing the Cardinals. I'm going back to strikeouts. Like it's I hate taking over 6.5 all the time, but it's plus 115 on DraftKings for him to get the over 6 in this one. He's gotten that in 9 of his last 11. And he's got like a 1.1 ERA over his last 5. He's got 40 strikeouts in 31 innings since the start of June, where he's really like a month ago at this point, middle of June. So last 5 starts, he just got 8 of them against the Cards on the 4th on our Independence Day. So I think him to get 7 against a team that whiff rate is like 32% or something ridiculous. They're not connected. They've been better. Like the Cards they've been better. Their surge is probably coming too late, but I think Luzardo is going to K him up tonight.
Yeah, and this is gonna kind of combining both of our thoughts there, just to kind of get people a price. Right now on DraftKings, Brandon Williamson to not record a win and McClanahan under 5.5 strikeouts is plus 125. I actually might play that. Like that. That actually sounds like a really good price there.
Wait, what is it?
Under 5.5 strikeouts for McClanahan parlayed with Brandon Williamson to not record the win is plus 125.
Why not just play them separately? It's minus 122 to go under 5.5. I just hate doubling. Because every time you make it's just like I feel like that's just too much juice to like. I know you're turning it into a plus, but I'd rather just play both of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying more so that I've actually been liking some of these like not to record a win things just because
what is he to not record a win? Just straight
minus
up
400.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's just what I mean. Like he's like
what is he yes to record a win?
Let me see. Probably like plus 260.
Well, it's a nice little straddle. It's nice to be a sports book, isn't it? Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
I mean, right? It's also, but it also makes sense because he's a guy that sometimes he doesn't even make it 5 innings. You don't make it 5 innings, you're not eligible.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an interesting number. I will just fade. I'll just take the Giants here. I don't love the card here. I said the Giants. I don't. Man, it's tough. It feels like the Reds are coming crashing back down to earth because remember we talked about this 6-game stretch against, and we'll get here to the playoff spots, odds to make the playoffs, futures because we haven't touched base on that in a while. the series before the break, the Reds came in hot. They had a 2-game lead over Milwaukee. They had 6 in a row against Milwaukee, 3 going into the break, 3 coming out. Had a chance to really put some distance between them and the Brewers. Hey, if they won 5 out of 6, you go from being up 2 to being up 6. Well, it went the other way. The Brewers won 5 out of 6, and now they're trailing by 2. It just feels like they're crashing. Say the same about Arizona, who takes on Atlanta in Atlanta this week, coming off a series loss. So I would worry about the Reds a little bit here. Webb's a good pitcher. Like you said, Williamson hasn't been good. Minus 150 on the road isn't great, but I'm okay laying it here with the Giants.
Yeah, which is kind of going back to my thing too with Williamson. He's just not that great. Like it's one of those guys.
Why not just take the Giants then? Why
yeah,
are we overthinking it maybe?
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying in terms of I've been using it more to like in a game like baseball. Like if there's like a 17.5 out prop that's minus 160, I can like if I get it plus money with a guy like Williamson not to record a win, more often than not it goes well because these guys. I mean, 10 starts. He only has 1 win, and it was a game he gave up 4 runs to the Royals.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I saw this morning. I'm checking to see if it's still there, and we'll get into our playoff teams in World Series. I guess we could do that now. Anything else on this card you like?
Yeah, actually, there's actually one play I would like to say that I've put in. I've come back a little bit to the strikeout market after not doing it for so long, but the one play I locked in really early this morning. It's still the number's still around, but Drew Smiley under 4.5 strikeouts. He gets to go against the Nationals. I mean, 17.5 strikeout, 1-9 percent against lefties. He's a ground ball pitcher. He faced him earlier this year, and for a guy that likes to get ground balls for a high contact team, he went 7 innings against this team with only 2 strikeouts. I think that's the avenue to beat the Nationals. Trying to strike this team out is just usually how you get into trouble. So I think even if he goes deep into the game, asking for 5 strikeouts is a lot.
It was minus 160 this morning. Now the Brewers are minus 175 to win the Central. It's like minus 3 something at DraftKings. So the importance of shopping around. So I'm worried about the Reds coming crashing back down to earth here. They don't get their pitchers back for a little bit. You still got a few weeks away from Lodolo and Green, maybe a month away. And it's funny that it hasn't been their pitching that's been the problem. So let's just get into it. 6 playoff teams from the American League, 6 from the National League. I guess we'll start. We'll just start with the American League. Brian, you could start. Who are the 6 teams going to be coming out of the American League into the playoffs?
Well, I feel like it's easy to say like the Rangers, Orioles, Astros, Twins are likely. I mean, likely in that. Hold on, sorry. Let me get my notes up. So that's 3. That's I think are easier. The Blue Jays should make it. That's 4, and then you're gonna go Brewers. I still.
American League. Did you give your 6 American League?
Sorry, I'm just thinking that you're right. You just American League. My bad. Yankees are plus 120. I don't have them making it. Sorry, I'm just making sure I have all of this because I just wrote down 12 in a row like an idiot. Yeah, these actually I'm pulling up the prices now. The Angels are now plus 1100. So give me Orioles, Astros, Rangers, Blue Jays. Is that 5?
That's 4.
4.
Prepping for the show helps sometimes. I don't know.
Well, no, I have them all written down. That's on me. I have them all written down, not by league. I just had.
Josh, do you want to give your 6 teams while Brian sorts his life out?
Definitely.
I just have my top 12 power ranking.
It's going to be pretty similar because of it's really just about the AL East and what you think is coming out of there. But I mean, I'm going to continue to back the Rays and the O's. I'm going to take the other 2 teams out of the West. And then obviously, the Twins finish things out. I think their pitching is also getting better, and they got a few guys back. I don't trust the Guardians, so then it's just really about who's your last team there from the AL East is really where I'm at, right? And who do you think is going to come back? And like, I want to take the Blue Jays. They're the one that scare me the most, but they're also the only team that, like, when I look at their roster and I look at who health continues to be the thing for them, then I'm going to continue to back the Blue Jays, honestly. So at this point, like, it's a pretty easy 6 or easy 5, and then it's just who's your 6.
So what do you have? You have Astros, Rangers, Twins, Jays,
Rays, O's.
Rays, O's. I have the exact same thing.
Would you guys look into the Red Sox at plus 255 for Tone Stamp?
They're not bad, boy. They're better than I thought they'd be. I have to be honest. Paxton's pitched well. He's always been good. It's just a matter of staying healthy. He imploded the other day to fuck over my first 500 in a game that was cruising. God, that pissed me off. That was just like he nicked the batter in the foot with a curveball. Bottom of the third, nobody had like sniffed a run. Bottom of the third, scoreless. I got 4.5. I'm waiting to just basically cash my ticket. He nicks 2 guys in a row with curveballs to start the inning. Then he walks the guy in a 3-2 count. and then they botch a couple double plays. Like it was 2-0. The ball hadn't left the infield, and it just got off the rails. But I'm just bitching about my bad bet. It's not a bad look. I don't have them in my top 6. I have the exact same top 6. The team I thought about, and I can't trust them. They can't get on track. The team I thought about, and if they get in, they're dangerous, is Seattle with all that pitching. But they just lost 2 out of 3 at home to Detroit. They just can't seem to get on track, which is pissing
They lose to bad teams, man.
Oh,
They've
God,
been
it drives
to
me
Nats.
nuts.
Like if you had an over on them at the beginning of the season, you've been cursing week in and week out when they
Yes.
lose the games they should win. And it also, I mean, look, so Seawald has been fine. Like the back end of their bullpen is good. Even the middle, like their pitching is good. It doesn't, but if it's such a tight margin for it that it's like, and what's the bet for them to make the playoffs right now? I missed them. They're at plus 475. Like that's the only team. If we're looking at this specifically through the lens of betting markets, that's the only team in the AL that you're like, maybe. I'm not taking the Jays at minus 200 to make the playoffs. Like everybody else seems pretty cemented. Like if you want to talk about the Guardians,
that's a good bet. I like that.
What,
Right?
what
460.
What's that?
I like Seattle plus 460 at FanDuel. Are there better prices out there, or is
It's
it plus 480 at
475.
FanDuel?
I will say, what a bad,
at DraftKings.
what a bad draw for anybody in the AL East. It's like literally everybody in that is 6 game above 500, and then you have the Twins rocking in like 2 games above 500, and they're in a much better position than anybody else in that bottom half of that division. Just because
somebody put a prop up. Who will have more wins, the last place team in the AL East or the first place team in the AL Central?
I would probably take the East. I mean, I think
they're all going to beat up on each other, which is the hard thing. Though.
Yeah, they're all better than they're like if you look at them against the spread, or not against the spread, just even the money line, their record against every other division that's not them,
they're
they
killing everybody.
Dominate. Yeah. You should just take them blindly. So like that's the only team, right? Because specifically through the lens of the betting markets, everybody else is just crap juice. Everything that's like Guardians at plus 235 is just so like emblematic of all of this. It's like I don't want that crap in the AL.
And it's partly like that's my thing is that on my notes where I wrote here. Now that I'm separated a little bit more, I looked at if I didn't hate the Guardians so much, I would think at some of the prices I saw this morning were like plus 270. Like,
do you have your 6 teams? Have you recovered? Do you have your 6 teams?
Well, I had the Red Sox in my list. It's same 5.
Okay,
I like the 5.
That's a fun one. I respect it.
Yeah, only because like I said, I wanted to find a way to be like, oh, the Guardians could sneak in, but it's not even back in the Guardians at that point. It's just back in the fact that maybe the Twins will just start to like because whoever makes out of that division might only have 81 wins. Like it might be that kind of a division. Like it's so bad.
That was a terrible loss yesterday by Cleveland too. They led the whole way, and the bullpen just spit it up against Texas. All right, National League, I think is a little more
real
fun.
quick. I just wanted to double check myself. Like, Yankees even money, Red Sox plus 230. Is that what? Yeah, plus 260 on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it just even the Blue Jays who are minus 200? Like, and they're only really like a couple games up on these teams.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put money down, like I'm not putting it on anybody other than probably the Sox to Brian's point. So I just kind of wanted to back you up there. If you're gonna take a 6th team to be from the AL East, that's not the teams, not the Orioles or the Rays. Like, why would you take either of the teams that are either giving you even money or minus money when they're all split up by just a couple games? So I think you take the Sox and then you take the Yankees and then you take the Jays if you're gonna bet either of those 3 teams. Honestly, so last point there.
I think we were doing it from the 6th that you just think will get in, forget the betting, and then to just mix in the betting part of it. Like I think Toronto will probably get in just talent wise, but I'm not laying $2, $2.65.
Which is I want to apologize for me being all discombobulated because that's what I kind of did. I just wrote down the best value teams. I should have done more because like we kind of mentioned some of these teams. It's like who's the 6th guy to make the playoffs in the AL? It's like sure these 5 teams, but they're all minus 400, minus 800. Not really much betting.
And there are good races. There's other than Atlanta, who's just run away with the NL East. It's there's a bunch of just good pen races. It should be a fun couple of months. Let's get to the NL. Yeah, Josh, 6 NL teams. Who you got?
Yeah, man, the NL's gonna be much more fun. Give me the Braves. Give me the Brew Crew to win that. Give me 3 NL West teams that are atop that right now. And then I really have to choose, right? The Dodgers, the Doyers, the Gigantes, and the D-backs. All 3 of those.
You got all of them in.
Yep, I got all of them in, the Bravos and the Brew Crew. And then once again, it's just down to like in that 6th spot, like, do I believe
I think the 6th spot is, I think if you phrase it that way, the 6th spot is easy, but
okay. Because it's going to come from the East.
I think the odds suggest who the 6th team is. And it's interesting. Have you looked at the odds or no?
Yeah, totally.
There's a team, and we'll just say it. I mean, all right, who's your 6th team? Do you guys prepare for these at all or no?
I did. I'm putting Miami in there. I thought I would
Okay.
hold us up and wait for us to talk about because Miami was also the team that I was like, I don't know, maybe take them at like plus 800 to win the division a while back, which no, but I wasn't even going to do that. But they're the team with the pitching. And that's why I even talked about them. So pitching. And if you're going to talk about making the playoffs down the stretch, like I do think that's going to be more important for them.
I went Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, Giants, Arizona, which worries me because their schedule's tough. They get Atlanta this week. It feels like without Merrill Kelly, I just don't know if they have enough pitching, but I did put him in there tentatively. And I'm going to go with Philly. Philly's a half game out of a wild card. They are minus 300 to make the playoffs, which is kind of wild. I feel like Miami's crashing back down to earth. They have a tough schedule second half. And that's a key thing now with 2 months left. It's important to look at the schedules. I don't know which site. I'm sure there's a site that makes it easily consumable, how the strength of schedule remaining. I don't know if you guys have a good site for that. Josh, do you have a good site for that?
No, because it's so subjective, and you know what I mean, that like they all kind
I
of
think it's just
vary.
opponent winning percentage.
It can be, but it's also like there's some that are more advanced, taking into account like who has been out and the strength of their roster.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's tough to do that because if a team has been losing because they didn't have a couple guys and they came back, then you know whatever.
Yes, but that would not make a huge dent in the numbers if it's like a 3-game series against somebody who's
Fair.
missing them. I don't know.
I mean, no, I'm not even look for the NL West too. Like these teams are going to be playing each other, and so of course the Diamondbacks are going to keep playing the Giants and the Dodgers and look like that, and they'll keep beating each other up a bit. But I just all those other like the NL Central versus any other division, and you're probably taking a team from another division when they play them. So like there doesn't matter who they play necessarily, they're not beating up on each other. But I mean the thing with the Marlins and the Phillies is just like the reason to take the Phillies is a slightly better run differential, and you believe like okay, well when they need to score runs, they really can much better than
I just think they're better. I just think Philly's better.
Yeah, I also agree with Will. I know it's hard for me to be like the guy from Philly that's going to say the Phillies, but the other thing too is it's if it does get to a close race, the Phillies do have 2 less games played already than the Marlins. So like that also could come into factor that the Marlins have 2 more wins than them, but they also have 2 more games played. And I mean, it's a matter of, funnily enough, in the last 40 games, the Braves have 30 wins, the Phillies have 26, and the Marlins have 25. So it's really kind of funny how we talk about the AL East doing all this great stuff. This division, they're like the hottest 3 teams in baseball for the last 40 days, and they're competing with almost each other. Like the Phillies are 26 and 40, and they've lost 4 spots in the division to the Braves. Not that they're going to catch up to them,
amazing.
but I think it's just one of those things where, I mean, I'm with Will. I think if it comes down to who can sustain this success down the whole second half, I feel like I back the Phillies offense a lot more, and I don't think the pitching.
Who are your 6 in general? Who are your 6 total?
I'll take Braves, Dodgers, Giants, Arizona, Philly, and then I will say I probably will go Brewers. But if I was betting it, I have the Reds already at what 480 when we did the show. So that which comes in the betting aspect of it, because I don't think the Brewers' value is great.
Well, once again, it's one of those things where do you think? I mean, the Reds have to. Right, the NL Central is going to have one team.
Not necessarily, but I would say probably.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, and most likely.
Especially if Arizona keeps crashing, these NL teams beat up on each other. I mean, it's not impossible since he wins 85 games and gets a wild card. I don't think it's likely. But
well, I guess my main point,
like the AL Central.
Yeah, but my main point is like, and I needed a second to bring it up, but plus 350 for the Reds to win the Central, plus 230 to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's
right.
I understand there's a bit more. They're beating out a couple other teams from the West to do that, but and the East, but I don't know.
It's also
bringing a chance they could win a wild card, which they could win. I don't think that's some huge discrepancy. I mean, I'd rather have the 350 probably, but I don't think that's crazy.
It's also a matter of Will makes a good point too, where the 3 of the 6 teams you're talking about are going to be the Dodgers, Giants, Arizona. Say there's a situation where, Arizona, Will mentions like he's a little iffy on. Say like the Dodgers and Giants both say have like a 3-game sweep of the Diamondbacks or that, then all of a sudden the Diamondbacks playoff chances go from like here way down. So there's always those avenues. Not saying it's likely, but there's always can happen with the way the playoffs.
You did pick Brewers to win the Central, right? After you sat the fence.
Well, I said if I had to pick, not based off betting, I would
Yeah.
take the Brewers. Yeah, because but
Okay.
like I said, minus 250 for that, I'd probably bet like Reds. If I
Yeah,
had to
no, I
make a
don't.
bet.
I think we should separate the betting exercise from who we actually think is going to make it. I agree.
Yeah.
The Reds are like the actual bet, but in terms of like, hey, who's going to win the Central? Like, if you gave life on the line, I think the Brewers
Yeah.
probably win the Central here.
Yep.
And it also comes back to if you watch these shows, I think I took it was 480 when I took it on the show. So it's like it took a hit, but it's still kind of like if you watch these shows a lot, I feel like we got some good numbers on certain spots.
World Series, who you guys got?
Best team in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, is it
that
bad?
it?
Is anybody betting against the Atlanta Braves?
You got to have two teams. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys were familiar how the World Series works. It's two teams.
Remind us how many?
10-minute quarters. Yeah.
10-minute quarters in the World Series.
I will go. Jesus Christ, Braves.
Braves. I already
Astros.
I mean, Braves.
You didn't say two teams. Who plays in the World Series?
Oh, I thought you said who wins the World Series.
No, the two World Series teams. It's in the show notes.
Can you get an exact matchup?
Yes, you'll probably get it ripped off on the odds. It's probably nothing sexy, but
wow, Tone Stamp is predicting Giants Twins over here. Hey man, if you're not gonna take this conversation seriously, no. Yeah, I mean, look, Bravo.
I like the option there, of Braves and Astros, but just
if
piss,
the Braves and
piss
Astros
Will
play,
off.
this
Piss
seems
Will off.
off
Give me the
like,
Rangers.
Plus,
you kind of piss me off. Well, piss me off when you guys don't pick. When you guys just don't.
I did pick. I picked. But I didn't understand the question. It was your Connecticut accent. I'm taking Bravos and then yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna be boring, man. I'm taking the Rays. Like once they get in there, if McClanahan's healthy at that point and Glass now is healthy again, like.
Nasty. You want to get your bets in on the Rays early because when McClanahan has like 9 strikeouts tonight, it's gonna drop in price.
No.
I don't know if they win that division. They have not played well. Their pitching always gets hurt.
I know.
Toronto's really good. Baltimore's really good. I'm not sure.
Baltimore takes them up.
I think Toronto might. Toronto's got a tough schedule, but if Toronto can survive their schedule, I bet them 12-1. I gave them out 12-1 on a Friday to win the division. End of August, early September, Toronto has a 12-game stretch where they play nothing but the Royals, the Rockies, the A's, and the Nationals for 12 straight games.
You mean the Rockies who just put up 10 runs on the Yankees?
It doesn't count as against the Yankees.
That's fair.
No,
it's an asterisk game.
That is yes. It's just like the Blue Jays are like the Padres, the AL Padres. So I will not trust them until I see it at this point again. But
they just swept Arizona. They played a little better. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I know what you mean, but they're a little more trustworthy. The Padres are just a total fucking abomination.
Tire fire
joke. If we did this show Friday, I would have picked the Padres to make it, but I think those 3 games, and especially the way they lost,
I was at all 3 of those games, and it was awesome. I don't know what it is, but man, it's so fun to hate on the Padres, which is so bad to say. But
Josh has to go. But just quickly, did you think those 2 guys, Stott and Castellanos, on Saturday were going to crash into each other, drop the ball, and the game was going to be tied? I thought the ball was popping loose so easily.
That stadium was quiet for maybe it probably was 3 seconds, but it felt like they were quiet for 4 minutes.
You could see them crashing into each other.
Because I feel like everyone was so quiet because I feel like they were worried about people. But it was a matter of, is the ball on the ground or are we safe? Right. Everyone was kind of you couldn't cheer for a little while. You had to make sure that they put their glove up first. Right. But yeah, that was you got to call that.
All right, we got to wrap. Quick recap. I am on the Giants. I'm probably going to parlay both pitchers under Ks because of the threat of rain. So look for some alternates. Bet Rivers lets you do it. I think a lot of these places do. Just quickly, what else do you guys like? Just for the few people that are asking.
Drew Smiley under 4.5 strikeouts against the Nationals.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I went McClanahan under 5.5 Ks. I'm still taking that, and I'm taking Ellie to steal a base tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but I wish, man, I feel like they rip you off on these prices. But boys, good show. Sorry for yelling at you guys. Pick it. Sleeper. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 Eastern. We'll talk about some more shit. We don't know yet.
Hold on, guys. Sorry to interrupt, but hold on. Yes? Before we go, do we have any homer plays today? Some people are asking in chat.
Homer plays. What do you guys got? Anything? Dingers are not my thing. Dingers to
me.
You're asking the wrong person.
Wrong live stream, brother.
Yeah, to me, the dingers are sucker plays. That's the easiest way to go broke.
I mean, you gotta bet it. You gotta be committed to it, man. Because you see guys putting 0.2 units, 0.3 units here and there, and they play the ladder. They play a round robin. It's like, if you do that enough times and your odds are close to 5-1, and then you parlay it at 50-1, and you do that, you hit one time, fine, you do it. But I'm not doing it consistently enough to have it be worth it at the end of the year, So unfortunately, I just don't think anybody on here, we're all just crusty curmudgeons about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, I'm a slow and steady guy. Just try to grind out profits. I'm not against having like, a lotto parlay here and there. I think they short pay on these home run odds. Get a guy to homer at like plus 250, plus 280. I don't think you're ever getting fair payouts on these home run odds. So it's not my cup of tea. But we got guys that do a great job with the homer play. So look to them. We try to balance it out. So that's the good thing about Goldboys. We have different.
Well, before we do dip though, styles. A King is saying anything Dodgers that we might like in that game. If anything, I just want to mention over. I know Emmett Sheehan has looked good at times. Grayson Rodriguez is coming back up. I'm excited to watch him. I thought he was
supposed to be so good. He's pitched like shit. I don't know what to expect.
He blew away. He just blew away AAA in the last like 5 starts. But obviously he's AAA. So if he comes up and has a good, he's got to play the Doyers, and then he's got another and then the Rays is his next matchup. So it's like, good luck with that, buddy. But that might mean he has a longer leash because they know they're playing him against them. So for the Dodgers and the O's, that starts in a few hours, I'd go over 9.5 runs. That's minus 105 on DraftKings. And then from there, I don't really want to pick a winner, although I lean Orioles because of the fact that Rodriguez is definitely better than Sheehan.
Yeah, it's a stay away from me. Both pitchers are talented. Both lineups are good. Dodgers, you could just probably do pretty well blindly playing the overs because they mash and they all have great pitching, but they played a bunch of unders this weekend against your Mets, who had a couple of tough losses, but actually won yesterday. Yeah. All right, anything else?
They came from behind.
Yeah.
Good show.
I think we're good. We can get Josh out of here.
I'm going to start cussing if we talk about the Mets, so let's get out of here.
All right. Sleeper, pick it, check them out. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. Thanks for listening. See you guys tomorrow.